So we are doing our infamous Boobies, Bodybuilding, and Bullshit podcast episode today, which is really a bunch of updates on our stuff because people find that interesting.
Check in with us. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's our check-ins to check in with you, being real. If you listen to the last one, which was in January,
Yes.
we talked about what we were doing going into the new year with all the things, and we're going to just kind of full circle go back and touch up on all the things, and then add some new things that happened, right?
Oh yeah. I know what it's been since January, post New Year's.
Yes.
So everything that's happened since then.
Everything.
Yeah.
All the things, which a lot of shit happens in 30 days.
Yeah. Okay.
Right?
So the funny thing is like, you ever want to go back and see what you did last month, just go back through your photo reel and see all the things that you took pictures of. So that's exactly how I go through and go back through my memories.
Yeah, that's the easiest way. We usually sit down and we're like, okay, what happened? And let's line it all up. So let's go ahead and dive in. We're going to start with our
Body goals.
Yeah, our essentially like our fitness stuff, updates, and all that fun stuff. Why don't you go first? Since
Me?
I usually still
Oh my
show
God. Okay.
with hogging up airtime.
It's because you have a big mouth. Okay.
It's
So with our body goals, right? If we're kind of going back what we were talking about last month, right?
Mhm.
We were like, okay, we want to kind of like clean up the food. We want to kind of start losing weight, and as of last month, I was already down to what, like 10 to 12 pounds.
Mhm.
So this last month or so, there's been so much going on.
Yeah.
Like so much. So what I did is I was like, you know what, listen, what we're going to do is we're just going to maintain this month. We've got a lot of things going on. We've got crab feeds. We've got parties, Super Bowl, all of that kind of fun stuff. So I've basically maintained the last month from like 152 to like 155, depending on the day. And we're training. We are training.
Yeah, you're crushing it.
I know. Yesterday when you were like, you want to go to the gym? And I was like, okay. And you're like, how many days did you work out this week? I said every day.
Mhm.
So I would have been down for it, but I think we needed steps anyways. So training anywhere from technically, I mean, mostly 5 days, maybe 6 days sometimes. Cardio, I want to let you know, it's been a little hit and miss.
Yeah.
Like anywhere from like 1 week, I think I had 1 day. Most of the weeks it's like 3 to 4. So it's feeling good. I'm changing my training each month. So I'm training in the gym with the clients, with the coaches, getting in there, making sure that the workouts are good. And I'm dying.
Yeah, you've been saying how you've been a
dying.
sore ass mess.
Yes, I've been kind of wrecked, which is great. So, as of like right now, enjoyment and balance is going to be my biggest goal. I'm loosely tracking. Basically, I'm meal prepping, well, somebody's meal prepping for me.
Yeah.
And it gets delivered to my door. So that's kind of an easy way for me to track my macros without being in my fitness pal every day.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are you tracking, or are you just like,
No.
okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
it's just like, meh.
okay.
So like I know what I'm going to be eating for breakfast and lunch and most likely dinner during the week. The only difference is that on the weekends, like, I know like we've been having lots of date nights.
Mhm.
So I just make sure like if I'm going to go out that night, basically my breakfast is all protein and then we kind of roll from there. And we're having like Mexican food and sushi anyways. So it's not like
Yeah.
we're getting too crazy.
I mean, let's go ahead and just talk about that real quick because I think that's super helpful for people to hear as
Yeah.
far as our strategies because, you and your husband are going out a lot. Me and my man are going out a lot. We've had lots of trips and navigating social eating is a
Yeah.
challenge for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Date nights or friend nights. And we have some go-tos, which is not necessarily like the only way you can eat well
No.
and still stay on track, but
It
we
helps.
have like our strategies. And I know we've gone into that exhaustively on the podcast, but sushi and Mexican food tend to
Sushi
be
and Mexican food are the easiest things to do, I swear. So like sushi, depending on what you like, some people like rolls, stay away from the sauce, get something that's not deep fried. That is going to be the thing. And then also if you're going to Mexican food, like take your choice, right? Are you going to eat some chips? Then maybe you shouldn't have some carbs. If you're not going to eat the chips, maybe you should get some tacos.
Mhm.
That's how we do it. Maybe you like the rice and beans. Okay. I think rice and beans grows muscles.
Rice and beans. Yeah. I mean, that'd be
If
great.
only,
I mean,
right?
it's
If only.
it's Whole Foods,
Yes.
right? The only thing I think a lot of times with we have clients that are like, oh, well, I had beans. That's great, right? Beans are healthy for you.
Yeah.
Well, most of the time,
They're deep fried.
the refried beans are made with lard
Yeah.
That's how they get creamy and delicious. So, whole beans are usually the way to go if you're really trying to be careful, like pinto beans or black beans.
Black beans are kind of my jam.
Yeah. But I think, to what you were saying, it's really the culprits are going to be a lot of the other things, right? Like the chips.
Don't eat the basket of chips.
The alcohol.
Yes.
Things like that.
Yes.
So that's where you really want to be aware of all the calories, just kind of shuffling in.
Where they sneak in. It's like basically the whole foods that you have in there are great. It's just all of the add-ins. Once you start adding all of the cheese and the sour cream and the guacamole, then you're like, oh, wait a minute. Things are getting a little out of control here.
Easily racks up another 500 to 600 calories. So you have to be careful with that. But anyhow, okay. So training's going good for you.
Yeah.
You're sort of navigating, I don't want to say like intuitive eating, but roughly.
Yes, I feel like the fact that like I meal prep and I eat the same thing every day during the week, it's like, I am kind of tracking. I just tracked a while ago and now I just eat the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that's really where we're at. I think that's where a lot of people should strive to be when they are trying to maintain their fitness goals and, still recomp their body or build muscle or whatever, is just intuitively knowing throughout the day how to pulse your meals and make sure that you're not ruining it completely on the weekends.
Right. Yeah. So tell us about you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Me.
You're good?
Yeah. So one of my goals that we talked about on the last Boobies, Bodybuilding and Bullshit was I am not really trying to aim for any specific like weight on the scale. Like, sure, like if I've dropped like 5 pounds, great, whatever. I really am just trying to maintain or sort of tighten up a little bit. And so I feel like that's actually happening. So sadly, I cannot report having as many great workout sessions as you.
I know.
And it's been still super hit and miss. And for some reason, I'm just feeling kind of, you know what it is? I'm feeling kind of bored, right? Like I'm feeling kind of bored with my training. Yeah. And Jack and I talked about this a little bit too, because I just told him like, I get in, it's sort of autopilot, right? Like I know how to train not chest and chest. Yeah. I know how to train like, a full upper body day, full body day, leg day, and all that fun stuff. But it's not that I don't like that style of training. I just feel like I need to switch it up a little bit. And so we had talked about doing more of some like athletic based training, because he's an athlete at heart and he still plays sports and stuff like that. And that's how he likes to train. So we're going to play around with that a little bit. I feel like, in this next month or so, but, my goal was to keep my waist at like 29, or get lower. It's at 29 right now. So I've been sort of tracking that loosely, not too crazily. But one thing that I found that was really interesting is I have been sort of floating between like a 6 and an 8, like size wise.
Right.
Which I find to be very important conversation, because I think women see a number on the scale and they freak out, right? And they're like, oh my God, right? But I can tell you that I have been 155 pounds before, and I have been like a 10, 12. Right. And you're like, how does that happen? Well, over the years of weight training, I've put on muscle and decreased my body fat. So my body has shrunk because muscle takes up less space than fat, right? As far as the two body tissues. Yeah. So at one point I was like a 10 and 12, and then I've been kind of like a 6 to an 8, right around that weight range. However, I did go shopping with Crystal. And I've been doing this other thing, which I'll talk about in a little bit.
Oh yeah.
And I have been falling between a 4 and a 6, which is weird, right?
Okay.
I know.
Skinny mini.
I know. And the thing is that the 6s are too big and the 4s they're not too small, but they're like, like when you wear them, you're like, these are not going to be like super comfy. Like if I want to have like a nice big meal. Okay. Which is actually fine. And kind of something I like to do when I go out is wear clothes that are just a little more on the fitting side, because then I'm not tempted to just go all out. Right.
Yeah.
So I've been noticing I've been fitting into a 4 and a 6, which to me just means that I'm likely recomping a little bit. But interestingly enough, I'm training half of the time that I have for most of my life. So I'm training like 3 days in the gym versus 6.
Crazy,
and yeah. And so there's that. I tweaked my back probably like 3-4 weeks ago. And so I haven't really been doing a ton of like spine loading stuff. So all of my training has been you know, avoiding spinal loading. So, you know, squats and things. I did do a little sumo Smith machine because I can't resist. It's one of my favorites. The other day just kept it really light. But anyhow, I've been maintaining about 155 pounds. You know, it comes down to 154, 156. We kind of just like play this little ping pong game. However, one discovery that I did have, and I haven't talked about this yet because I was like, we'll talk about it on the podcast, right?
Yeah.
Is that I have been having some GI issues, right? You be knowing my tum-tum isn't always cooperating. And so I did this thing called GI mapping. And listen, I'm just going to spare you the details, but let's just say they take some of your stool and they run it through a test, and that revealed that I have leaky gut. Dun, dun, dun.
I feel like, you know, when you hear that, that sounds
disgusting.
Weird.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit more about what leaky gut is so I can get a better view on what it looks like and not just your gut leaking
inside. Well, I'm not a doctor, so I'm not going to probably break this down scientifically as best as my doctor did to me, but
right. I think your way would probably be more understandable anyways.
Yeah. So essentially what happens is that certain factors will break down the mucosa on the internal wall of your colon, from what I understand.
Right.
And what starts to happen is that you'll start to have like bacteria and toxins sort of like leaking into your bloodstream, which is not good. And you start to notice some symptoms. You know, some diseases are linked to leaky gut. So if it's uncontrolled, it has shown to kind of make those things worse.
Right.
Now, for me particularly, my symptoms were just like stomach stuff all the time. I eat something, immediately it's an issue, right?
Yeah, right.
It could be something that I eat all the time or something totally new. I just knew like it's going to be an issue. And it's been like that for how long?
A long time.
A long time. Like way too long, longer than I should have let it go. So they want to immediately put me on this whole protocol of like fixing my leaky gut. Well, what I did was I'm doing like a soft start, okay? Because let me tell you, it's like no coffee, no alcohol, no bread, no grains, you know, so it's a very strict protocol. So I'm doing a soft start to that, and I already feel a ton better. And also including some things like megadosing L-glutamine and shit like that. So it's getting better. It's a little bit of a transition, but I'm feeling better. And part of that was also stress management, because she said that one of the biggest contributors besides food, because she's like, well, you eat pretty healthy, right? Like I'm not eating like I used to. My quarter pounders with cheese, extra greasy.
Extra greasy.
She says with stress management. So for me, that's what I'm trying to focus on too, along with the foods that are triggering the issue.
Wow.
So
I like that.
Yeah. So I've been pulling some of that stuff out, and then my diet's been pretty boring. It's pretty much the same shit, you know?
I know.
Eggs, egg whites, chicken, beef.
I was listening to somebody on Instagram, and they're like, you're not supposed to get bored with your food because food is not for entertainment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So everybody's like, what do you eat? And it's like, we eat the same shit every day.
Yeah.
Every day.
And you know, there is such a like social component to eating and enjoying a meal.
100%.
And I think that at least I'd feel, I don't know how you feel, like we can go out and we can have a date, or we can have a girls' night, or like we're going to have brunch tomorrow.
Yeah.
And we know like how to balance that out, so we don't feel like here's just another egg white, you know, omelet or whatever.
Right. And I like egg white omelets. That's like, I live on that sometimes.
Yeah. So we play around with having some fun things and not being completely boring AF. Right. Yeah. So that's my diet stuff. I mean, I'm not tracking. So just as a recap, like,
yeah, you never do that.
I haven't tracked in, I don't know, probably a couple of years now. And, I'm just, yeah. I'm real big on my sanity foods at nighttime, because that's usually my issue. And I think a lot of people can resonate with that.
Nighttime is definitely the problem, or typically where it's kind of like, oh, I've done good all day. And then you like trip on like 18 Oreos, and then you're like, oh shit.
Yeah. You know, we can go on a huge rant for that, but it's like, just don't keep that shit in your house. Right. So for me, I make my little Greek yogurt concoction most nights. It's probably like 500 calories.
Yeah. I mean, if you like Oreos, get Oreo freaking protein. You'll be fine. Make it work.
It's not quite the same.
How do you know?
or cookies and cream protein powder.
Yeah, and put it in Greek yogurt.
I think she has a fever, you guys. That's fine. No, I've been taking my protein bars, my muscle sandwiches. Those are so good.
So good.
And then just like smashing them up and then dumping them into Greek yogurt. And
it's beautiful.
It's amazing. A little bit of flax meal for my leaky gut. A little.
That's the soft start. Okay. That is the soft start.
So it's getting better. And yeah, you guys feel free. Like we're over live on Instagram, but some questions are rolling through. We love audience participation. So if my Facebook friends, hi, we've got Danielle, Erica, Anita, and Michelle.
Oh, hi. Everybody's here.
Hi,
What's friends.
Kelly, Bobby. Okay. So just brief interruption. I have done some CPR on my Facebook group.
Right.
I know.
Instagrammies, YouTubies.
Yeah.
If you're on the Facebookies.
Yeah. Reason being is I love Instagram. It's fun. It's like where I hang out mostly, but I have this Facebook group, which we're recording live in now, which has almost 2,000 members in it that I started eons ago.
Yeah.
And I left it dormant because I was just on ramping with Instagram. Sorry, Facebook, I was cheating on you. But I want to have a place where like my besties, we can have like a little community and we can chat and like have conversations instead of just watching my stories and then sometimes replying. I'm like, let's talk. You know, I need friends. I don't have anybody out here. So let's do that. So Boss Bitch Besties Fitness Community. That's where we're at. That's where we're at. We're gonna be hanging out there often. So anyhow, what was I saying?
Well, we were doing body updates, but I feel like
I swirled. Oh, we were talking about questions.
Oh.
Okay. Kelly says, does the gut heal then with the changes or is it forever leaky? It is not forever leaky. No. So there is, from what I've been reading and what my doctor's having me do, there are phases. So the first 30 days is supposed to be like a really strict phase of cutting out all of the trigger foods, and literally that's like not looking like a good time. And so I'm baby stepping to that. And that's just the way that I want to do it because I don't like, I don't know, like bodybuilding has given me such an aversion to do things like hardcore, you know?
Right. Like, no, I get it.
I'm not hardcore, but
some
we're gonna
fix it. You know, it just depends, you know, maybe her gut's going to continue to hurt her and then eventually she'll pull the Band-Aid.
See, she be knowing.
I know.
So first 30 days, you cut all the things out. And then 60 days, you sort of can reintroduce certain things. And then at 90 days, the same thing. And then you slowly start to reintroduce things. It's like an elimination diet. I don't know if you've ever heard of that, but
yes, absolutely.
It's kind of like an elimination diet. And then you can slowly bring back some certain things.
Test it. And then if it messes up your gut, you have to pull it out, correct?
Yes. I know, but there is a whole host of like GI things that I need to be doing and like new supplements that I'm adding and probiotics and digestive enzymes and blah, 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 all that stuff. So stay tuned. I'll let you know how the journey goes, but so far so good. Okay. Training we talked about. Yeah, we did all the fitnessy things.
Let's talk about hair.
Yeah, my hair is very crunchy and wet doggy today.
No, it's good. You tell me about your haircut.
Okay, so we'll shift into some things. So you guys obviously know I have curly hair and it's a lot to manage. So over the years, I have had my own experimentation and things, but I have been getting curly haircuts locally with Miss Tiffany, who's amazing in Modesto. And I also started following curly hair accounts, and I found somebody in Reno, she's also in San Diego, who does curly hair, and she has like this whole crazy salon dedicated for curly hair. And I was like, you know me, like if I find a thing, I like want to try the thing.
I told her, I said, so you got a coach for your hair.
Yeah, basically, but it's
for everything.
Yes. It's Desert Curls Studio. And Lonnie, she was the one that did my hair. She's the owner. She did amazing. So it was like a full-on consultation. Like I went in there and she like sat down and was like, what are you unhappy with? Like, here's what I'm noticing, like brushed it all out. And with curly hair, if you have curly hair and you've been struggling, you need to get it cut when it's dry. And if you fear getting it cut because it always shrinks, this is another reason it's great to do a dry haircut with someone who knows how to cut curly hair. Because listen, when you cut this much off of curly hair, it's really like this much, okay? Because of the shrink factor. So yeah, so she colored me. She, have you ever Okay, y'all, you tell me too. Y'all, you tell me, and y'all, you tell me. Okay. Have you ever tried wearing your hair in a different part?
Yeah.
Like changing your part?
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't work for me.
For you or
I don't know. Does anyone else struggle with that? Like if you've ever tried to move your part over?
like I can do mine anyway. I could do it in the middle. I could do it this way. I could go the other way.
It doesn't work like that for my head.
I would assume.
So with her, I talked about like, I've got a lot of forehead real estate, right? Which, okay, like I've accepted it, right?
The Botox looks great.
The Botox is be Botoxing.
It's Botoxing.
But she was telling me like, okay, well, let's try a part here where like you can have hair here and it just kind of like hides this whole, situation. And so it looked fantastic when she did it and it worked out great. And then I got home and tried to replicate it and I was like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. So,
okay.
So I'm still practicing, but I'm not going to give up, because I felt like it looked really good. But yeah, that was really fun. I just went and stayed overnight in Reno and did all things.
You drove your BMW in the snow. I feel like you should have borrowed the Jeep.
Yeah, I didn't know. I did not know it was going to snow.
That just goes to show we do not watch the news and we don't check the weather.
Didn't check the weather. Headed to Reno, fucking snowing. Okay. Not just like a little, it was like for like a minute. And I was like, fuck. My car was just covered in just gray. It just looked gray. It's black. It looked gray. And then, we're doing a little slide thing, and I'm trying not to die on the hill. I'm exaggerating, but still, it is a little mortifying.
It's scary. It is scary.
Yeah. Especially when you see fucking trucks pulling over and putting chains on their shit. I'm like, are we going to live to tell another sale?
I said, as long as you get over the hill, you're going to be fine.
Yeah. Which it was great.
I also got my hair dyed.
I know it looks beautiful.
People noticed and they were like, your hair looks great. So I went blonder and I'm going to ask all of you.
Do blondes have more fun?
Oh, I actually do not believe I can have any more fun at any hair color.
You're just a disco ball with legs. You're just like a party everywhere.
Bring it on. Yeah. And so the question would be, should I go blonder?
I mean, I think summer is right around the corner. I feel like you should.
I haven't been blonde since 2020.
Should she go blonde? Let's vote.
Question.
Yes, I'm liking the highlights. I think it looks good.
So far, so good.
Yeah, totally. Mm-hmm.
All right. So what are a couple of things that we've done in the past? You went to the snow. I did too. Okay.
Yes.
I went to Tahoe. We have a family cabin out there that we go and we stay at. It was great. We watched dueling pianos downtown on Saturday night. If you guys are ever out there and you're outside of town, go to the Getaway Cafe. I talk about it all the time. Anybody who's local usually knows. We were at dinner one night with, our favorite couple, the Wyricks, and we were talking about it. And the guy next to us was like, "Are you talking about the Getaway Cafe?" And I was like, "Yeah." And so he already knew. Oh, look, we got thumbs up over there on the Facebookies. But yeah,
what's the deal with Getaway Cafe? This is in Tahoe?
So good. Yeah.
Okay.
It's right outside of Tahoe. So if you come down the hill, the first town right after the roundabout, there's going to be on the left a little tiny cafe that does breakfast and lunch. And it's amazing.
Okay.
5-star rating.
Okay.
All across the board.
Sold.
So super duper good. Downtown Tahoe is always great. It was snowing. We got a snow blower. So, we got it all blown out. It's great.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Tahoe. We went to Vegas.
Oh yeah.
Last weekend? I guess, yeah, it was last weekend. So went to Vegas. Yeah. And we, meaning Jack and I, my boyfriend, we went not for the Super Bowl.
Surprisingly.
Yeah. Which, that doesn't make me sad.
No.
But we went to go watch a comedy show. So if you are familiar with Tom Segura and I believe his name's Bert. I keep wanting to call him Brett, but it's not Bert. It's Bert Krishner, something like that. And then they had like some other opening comics. So good, so funny. We had a really great time. However, Vegas was absolutely bananas on Saturday before the Super Bowl. It was almost just unpleasant,
Too much, too much.
We could not walk really side by side on the sideboard anywhere really. And so I just stood behind him and he like he normally does was just like a train through people. And I'm like, great. Okay. I don't have to shoulder check anyone. He's doing it for me, so that was great. But we did have our little Nike experience.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Tell me more about that, because people were asking me and I was like, I hadn't talked to her yet about the whole thing.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay. So just to bring everybody up to speed real quick, my boyfriend Jack is a absolute sneakerhead, and which also means I'm now a sneakerhead by association.
Yes.
Meaning he just buys me lots of shoes, which is fun and it's great. And I love it. And I'm very grateful for it. And I'm learning things, and it's been fun. It's kind of like this new thing that I'm like,
I like it. It's cool. I'm
kind of
like, I'm dabbling a little bit. I'm like by association. I'm even like a quarter of that.
For sure. So they have, Nike stores, do all the things in Vegas. And we went into this one store just to go see what they had. I believe it was a shoe palace in Vegas. And it was like, there was like a line, like you had to be in this line. And I'm like, okay, well now I want to go in there. I think that's part of like the psychology they use with like the ropes and like, you only let so many people in here at a time.
Right. Right.
So then they let us in there, and apparently they were doing this thing, I think for that weekend, which was, it was kind of like, I told him, I'm like, this is like Pokemon Go for adult, for like
scavenger hunt. It was a scavenger hunt.
And so the point is that you had to go to other locations in Vegas, and you had to like use their little QR code to like unlock another level. Okay. Yeah. And we're looking at it and they're like, okay, once you do all of that, we can let you into the vault. And we look over, there's this giant gold door. We're like, well, what's the significance? Once you get into the vault, there are shoes in there that you can only access if you get into the vault, at least for right now. Mm-hmm. And you can only purchase one pair. That's the other rule. Like, so if you go in there and there's like, great pair that you want to buy like 5 of, can't do that. So I'm like, okay, well, let's both do it. Long story longer, we went. I was thinking this was going to be just like a run over here and run over there. No, 26,000 steps is what I ended with the day.
Yay.
And it probably was more because I think we stayed up later and we were running around, but, and you know how it like counts to the next day's steps. Yeah. So 26,000 steps later, we get back to the vault, and we were, I was told him, I'm like, I don't care what's in there, but like, you have to do this. Like, this is like an experience.
Yeah, totally.
And they take you in there, and, they open up the big door, and inside there's like a desk and a girl sitting behind there. And then they have these gold lockers all over.
I know, your story was awesome. It was cool.
Yeah, it was super cool. And then, I found a pair that I loved, and he found a pair for his sister. And we were just like, okay, this was fun. It was a great experience. Yeah. So it was super cool.
So if you like shoes, there you go. That's what you're going to do.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun. What else? What else you got?
We've been going on a lot of date nights with friends, solo. Me and Dave went to a concert last night, Bryce Vine in Sacramento. We had a blast. The other thing that I'm really loving is girls' night. So girls' night's been great. You even actually got to come out this week.
I did.
Girls' night, which is great. So, I went to a crab feed. Coco Bongo'd it up. The Super Bowl, obviously, Kansas City won, right? Taylor Swift's boyfriend's team.
Yeah. That was so funny.
I am a 49ers fan by association. Like, I could give a shit about football, but I mean, I watch the game and stuff. If you give me tickets though, I will go and I will watch, and that'll be fun. But yeah, so I mean, I wasn't heartbroken. I'm sure a lot of people were, but there's that. So Glute camp.
Yeah,
has been going really well. So
they're about almost done with that. Right on the corner.
You're halfway. So Glute Camp is a class I teach in the studio at Venus. It's all about working your glutes. You guys know big booty Judy things are like my forte.
Can you show them your fucking tattoo already?
Okay. I can't do it. Look, I got a peach.
Can you go like this?
I got your ass on my wait, hold on. I can't do it. My arm doesn't break that way. Boom. Okay. Boom. Oh, should I flex?
Oh, look at that.
I got a peach tattoo because,
because she's dedicated to the glutes,
growing your booty is like my love language. Come do that with me. Okay. So yeah, the Goddess Body Project. Can we talk about that?
Yeah, it's been going really well.
So I know the group portion is like alive with all of the peoples in there. And then even some of the girls in the studio are crushing it. So it's been great.
Yeah,
Super fun.
I think everybody's just in like work mode right now, like knocking off the boxes or checking off
the boxes, man.
and doing other things. But yeah, we're going to be gearing up for that again in April. So I can't wait. We'll probably have some girls want to do it again, which is always fun.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So Valentine's Day was when I got this tattoo, right?
Okay.
So a friend of mine posted like a flyer of like a whole bunch of tattoos, like little tiny ones, and was like $50. Come see me 10 to 10. And I was like at dinner with my husband, and I'm like, hey, you want to go get tattoos tonight? And he was like, what? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, all right. And I was like, okay.
Your husband is like, yes, ma'am.
Sarah came with me and Dave went. It was a blast. We had super fun.
Yeah. So, I mean, let's talk about relationship things because,
okay.
you were telling me you guys are doing something different.
What are we doing?
You guys are going to a thing. You guys are going to a thing.
What thing?
A thing, a workshopy thing.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah. Okay. So, I'm very open about the fact that we've gone to therapy and things like that. I think it's been great. We actually canceled on our therapist last month because we're like, yeah, we don't really need you right now. We'll talk to you later. You just wait. So we kind of feel like we're ahead, right? And a friend of ours invited us to a growing in marriage thing, which I was like, oh, okay. I don't think it's bad to kind of learn more things about how to make your relationship better. And ever since we've kind of been working on it more, it's been fantastic.
Yeah.
We've been doing really great. So just to say, work on your marriage if you're having a hard time with it.
Yeah. I mean, what do you think is like the most challenging part? Because let me just, before you launch in, I know, right? How long have you guys been going? Like a year? Maybe?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I've known you for a very long time.
Yeah, go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Spill the tea.
Like 10 years,
yeah.
I feel like at this point. And I feel like this last year of your therapy has been really instrumental in like how you talk with us about our relationships, right? So we have like a crew of 5 friends, the Bad Bitches Council, which is me, Amanda, Tara, It's the Awesome, and Crystal. Yeah. And just good friends there. Actually, y'all were my clients that I made into my friends. And then now we're just
I made you my friend.
Yeah, you did. And then we're in this little huddle. But we've been friends for quite some time, and we could see each other evolve, and I pay attention to those kinds of things. And so with you, I know that like if I come to you and I'm like, this is what's going on in my relationship, or whatever, you, like if I was in your shoes type of like, I don't want to say it's advice, but you're like, well, like I'm like, fuck, she's good. Like, where did this come from? And it's stuff that I know, but it's always hard when it's yourself.
You have to hear it. You have to hear it. I think another thing to say about that is like the BFU things have been really like eye-opening. And I think I've learned a lot from them as well, so
most definitely
kudos to them as well.
Business for Unicorns, which is my coaching group, is who you're talking about. But so how do you feel like you've changed in this process?
I just feel like I take a second to think, and then like communication is the hugest thing. I think the hard part about marriage and all of that is like communication, right? And then so do you remember the conversation we had recently where we were kind of talking about being married? And it's like, in reality, what you're doing is you're kind of locking yourself into this little spot where it's like, you have to check in with somebody. They have to matter, and you have to like keep their thoughts in your thoughts, like in whatever you do, which has been great.
I think it's good. I have been experiencing some relationship challenge as of late. And that is because we're spending more time together, right? We're getting to know each other. We're acclimating to each other's worlds. And now, we are past the whole like first few months stuff. And now we're moving into like lifey things.
Right.
And it's been like interesting to take a step back and be like, okay, how would I have used to reply to this that was not effective?
Yes, 100%. Oh my gosh, so much.
Yeah. And then
so much.
Now I'm like, okay, the goal is always preservation of the relationship, but like, how do I get there? Right. And like navigating the conversation. So yeah, that's always tricky.
Well, yeah. I mean, really for sure, like the best thing has been just thinking about somebody else before you kind of do anything, really. You have to have your partner's best interest with everything that you do. And then if you do that, you're going to be successful in your marriage. And if you have problems or there is a hard time like communicating, the best thing is to ask for help.
Yeah.
Ask for help. It's not bad. I mean, even if you go by yourself, like even if I went by myself, like I feel like I almost want to go by myself just to like do my own shit now.
Yeah.
And if I could do my own shit, then other shit is great too.
For sure. For sure. No, I think I think it's definitely important to have, somebody that you can talk to. Crystal's just like my dial-up therapist sometimes.
Get yourself a best friend that is a therapist.
Yeah.
And it'll go great.
Yeah. And she's essentially in a very similar spot like we are both in our relationships, coming up on like a year and all that. And so we communicate and we have those conversations, and she teaches me some things and tells me some things. But I think I'm also helping her too, because, even though she's a therapist, like she's also has her own little.
Not always, but if you're unsure, it's good to have an outside source to kind of look at the situation.
Most definitely, especially just to kind of find like blind spots, right?
Yeah.
Which are always fun.
Or like
this.
Get that little, stop that before we do that.
But can we talk about the importance of actually your community, like of friends, right?
I feel like that's something that we've realized a lot since you've been in Livermore.
Since you've been gone.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. I think whenever we get like a chance to be around each other, it's almost like a refresh. And like, I could go back to life and like, be like, I'm good. Let's go, and like, it's nice to be able to be yourself.
Yeah.
Like I'm a ding dong head.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that. So it's just great. They love me as their little ding dong head.
Definitely. And I think like having your group of friends that each has their own, like, obviously we're all different. We all have our own qualities. And like, we know that if we need like a ray of sunshine, it's going to be, this person. If we need the disco ball, it's going to be this person. If we need, the person that's logical, it's this mostly logical. I mean, we're all adults and logical, but it's really great to have a little circle of trust.
Yeah,
for sure.
I know, we were talking about date night, and I kind of want to just like touch on this. So this lipstick is from last night.
Wait, what?
I never reapplied this morning, and I just want you to know that like this little Maybelline matte ink is fantastic.
All right.
If I would have reapplied this right now, I would look like I was going to the club.
Okay. This just reminded me of what I wanted to talk about, which I said I was going to talk about earlier. So I've been talking about this service that I've been using with my friends. And I haven't really said anything on the gram or anything yet, because I was like, let me test it out, see if I like it, kind of a thing. And let me tell you, I'm going to sound like a commercial for a second. I wish I had a promo code. I think I have a refer your friends link, which I'll put in the show notes.
Yeah.
And I think it gets you like 30% off your first month or whatever. However, it's called Rent the Runway. I found somebody on Instagram that uses it, and she was raving about it. And of course I did my research and like when I read it, and I'm like, what is this shit? Essentially, if you like dressing up or you have a special event or whatever, date nights, birthdays, parties, baby showers,
like people that do conferences, that would be great.
Yeah, for sure. Or you have to dress in like professional wear for the office. Like they have a vast array of different kind of settings that you can look in their app and find amazing outfits. Like I've thought about doing, what's that? Stitch Fix.
Right.
Have you seen that? Like
I've done that.
You have?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, and what did you think?
I feel like I like black.
Yeah. See, and that's the thing.
I can't it's very rarely that I wear color.
Yeah.
Very rarely.
Yeah. And that's the thing with Stitch Fix. Like my son had done it, and I was just like, okay, like it was great for him, but I just wasn't like a fan of some of their stuff. And honestly, the reason why I'm like this Rent the Runway just seems like it makes so much more sense, because then you can return it. And I don't like to wear the same thing.
No, I know how unless it's your pink tank top.
Unless it's my pink tank top, which I actually got rid of for you, by the way. She has this tank top of mine that she absolutely hates. So anyhow, I signed up for it and I got my first 5 outfits and I wore, like, if you follow me on Instagram, like the green dress I wore for Valentine's Day was from them. I got this cute, like little short blazer thing that I wore, when we went out for girls' night.
Is that what you were wearing?
Yeah. And then I have a couple dresses, one I'll wear tomorrow for brunch and another one that I'll wear.
You're wearing a dress?
Yeah, I'm gonna wear a dress, and I'm wearing a dress tonight for dinner with my man.
Your friends are like, oh, we're gonna go out, and then you're like, well, what are you wearing?
Yes.
You want to make sure that you're dressed to the same status that your friend was.
Yeah.
You know, like, are we going in gym
sweatpants?
Are we going in leggings, or are we going in a dress? Okay, we're going in a dress.
Yeah. So I'm obsessed with it already. Like, I got the stuff; it fit really well. And the thing that I like about it, I think I was telling you, is when you go on there, you can see other women that were your same size and height and like their weight and everything to kind of get an idea, like their all that stuff. And so that made it really easy. And their customer service is amazing. They have like a text concierge. I don't know if I was telling you this. And I was like, I wonder if this is bullshit, right?
No, it actually works.
So I pull up the text message and I'm like, start communicating with them. They're like, oh, hi, Diane, this is Rachel or whatever, you know, and like, where are you going? I'm like, okay, I have this. I can't remember what I told her I wanted it for. And she's like, well, what's your style? I'm like, edgy, dark, short, tight, puffy sleeves. Like, she started asking me all these questions. And then she curated a list for me and put it in my, like, it's in my account or my app. So I pulled it up and like almost everything she picked out, I was like, I love all this shit.
That's great.
It was amazing.
I love that. It's like having like a stylist.
Yeah. So I'll link it up in the show notes so you guys can check it out and let me know what you think. But that's been fun.
Yeah. That's super cool. I love that.
Yeah. Here's how I feel about it. Okay. We're hot. We're sexy. We work hard on our bodies. So are you. So are you. So are you. And, you know, wear what you feel comfortable in, of course. However, I feel like one of the main reasons why we do what we do is because we want to look good with clothes and without clothes on. Okay?
Correct.
Okay. So when I'm going out with my man or my friends or whatever, like, I'm a walking business card. I need to be showing it off. Why am I hiding it?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I agree.
So I want to wear,
give me a reason to go somewhere.
Yeah. I want to wear cute clothes and I really want to wear heels. Just for a small period of time. Fuck. In Vegas, I fucking killed my feet.
You wore heels in Vegas.
I know. Jack told me and I was like, it's fine. Until it wasn't. And I was like, oh my God, my feet are bleeding.
Did you buy new shoes?
No. I mean, I did have shoes, but I just suffered through.
So that's what my daughter did. She wore boots. And I was like, you're not going to make it, bro.
She wore boots and
like tall boots.
Oh.
In Vegas.
Yeah.
Right?
With a heel.
And I was like, you're not going to make it. Okay. And then halfway through the night, she had to buy her boyfriend bought her new Nikes so she could wear the Nikes. So yeah, that just goes to show, try not to wear heels in Vegas unless you're going to go sit down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Our friends are saying hi things.
Hi. Hello, friends.
Curly girl here. Totally get it. Yeah, yes. Totally.
That is Nicole. She does have super curly hair too. I always think about you. I'm like, when I see somebody with curly hair, I'm like, my friend has curly hair.
Somebody was asking. Yeah, totally. Somebody's asking, Glute camp is how many times per week? 2 times a week.
So Glute camp is local in studio with me 2 times a week. I have a couple of different time slots, but it's it's going to be 2 times a week, 1 hour trainings for 6 weeks. So you get 12 training sessions. You get a couple of cute little meal plans and workouts and cardios and things like that in your email as well. And I break it down for everybody to where in any movement, you're making sure that you're filling your glutes. It can be anywhere from a beginner to all the way to advanced, and I can work them out in 1 hour.
Yeah. Yeah. Good stuff. And they're addicted.
I love it.
They keep taking it over and over again.
Yeah. I've got great booties too. And it like bleeds into more things. Like Noelle, we've had her. She started in Glute camp. She did 2 or 3 rounds, and now she's doing the Goddess Body Project. So yeah, it's good.
Yeah. Her body's crazy changed.
Yeah.
Okay. You were wanting to go off on some things.
Yeah. I just kind of a couple of things that I kind of gone over like with clients and things over the last couple of weeks. So number one that I found like a while ago with somebody is they were like, I'm following the meal plan and I'm already like low calories. I don't know what's going on. And I was like, I refuse to give you less calories. So we're going to have to figure out what's going on. So then she tells me that she's taking gummy supplements.
Oh
And
yeah.
I was
Gummy
like,
vitamins.
yeah,
Mm.
like all of the vitamins were gummy, right? And I was like, okay, what I want to do is I want to go ahead and I want to put that in your MyFitnessPal and see how many calories that is. Cause then she's like, oh, I looked and this was like 60 calories. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, all right, let's put them all in. It ended up being like 240 calories a day extra she was getting just because she was getting it through like a gummy substance instead of like a pill or something else.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, I was like, holy shit, this is the problem. Okay, let's take that out. Let's feed you and let's do that.
Well, I mean, it makes sense because,
Yeah.
like, I mean, we have hard preps, you and I both.
I want to talk about that too.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I don't want to forget. Okay. In prep, right? Don't think you're going to be the girl that's eating a shitload of calories. Oh my gosh.
Why are the fireworks going off? I don't know what's happening, but I'm here for it. Okay.
If you're on Instagram, we just made fireworks happen. Okay.
Yeah.
So not a lot of people, like barely any people go to the end of their prep where they're eating a boatload of carbs. Okay. Don't get it twisted. Going into prep is not a way to get healthy.
No.
Okay. Don't do that. All right.
Like up until a certain point. Okay. Like, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's just it. But like with supplements too, right? I think a lot of people are like, okay, I'm going to go on a diet and I need to get all my supplements. And I'm like, okay, well, are you working out and eating right yet? Because supplements aren't going to be the thing that's going to fix everything.
I swear. I talked about that on the webinar. Did you watch that?
I don't think I did.
No.
I missed it.
I literally spent so much time talking about that for the Goddess Body Project.
Oh, I was
in the coaching. Yeah. In the coaching thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I talked about it just like, like I'll tell y'all about supplements, but let me also tell you before I tell you is I want you to use my affiliate links and codes, but however, I don't want you taking it if you think this is going to be the answer to problems.
Yeah. If you are eating your protein, don't think supplements are going to save you. Okay.
Unless it's a protein shake.
Unless it's a protein shake. Yeah. And at that, don't be having like 4 of them a day. Okay. You got to get it through whole foods. Right. So that was kind of the thing that I'm going on. Like eat your protein, be consistent, learn your nutrition. I think that's one thing that a lot of people don't do. I'm like, ranting on this now, huh? So when you start to track your macros or you want to eat healthier, the thing is like people just give me a meal plan. Okay, go ahead, right? You're not going to stick to that bet for the rest of your life, right? And also they don't understand the nutrition that's coming from those pieces, like chicken breast, chicken thigh. Like they don't know the difference between the two we're getting thumbs up too. They don't know the difference between the macros and the calories on the two. They're like, well, I ate chicken. And I'm like, okay, well, was it chicken thigh or was it chicken breast? Because it's going to make a huge difference, right? Yeah. So I think that's one of the really big things for people to get consistent and learn more about what the actual macros are on these kind of foods. And then that way that bleeds into like a lifestyle change. Yeah. Right. And I think that's kind of where we're at with our nutrition and our body goals is that we are just lifestyle planning it and we understand the macros and the foods. And so it's easy for us to kind of
most definitely. Most definitely. Before we go on, if you're still here, like we have some eyeballs on Instagram, we have some on the Facebooks. You guys, if you want any help with like nutrition or you have questions around that, please drop them here. We are here to answer them. And, don't be shy. No question is a dumb question. Pop it in there. Do it. All right. But to your point, I don't know if I've ever told you that I had a client who she was telling me that she was eating chicken. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like, so, and we're detectives. So it's like, chicken is not just chicken. It's not just created equal. Like what was put on it, like all the things. She was eating legit chicken nuggets, like chicken nuggets. Like that was her thing, well, I just run through and I'll get some chicken nuggets from McDonald's or get through some chicken nuggets at Wendy's. So I'm eating chicken and I'm like, let's pump the brakes here. The chicken nugget diet. Like, I mean, if you're in a deficit, but she wasn't like really counting. She was just like, I'm just eating chicken nuggets. And so like, why am I not losing weight? Because you told me to eat chicken and it was white, like it's white chicken. I'm like, no, honey. Okay. It's deep fried. It is deep fried.
And then frozen.
Yeah. It can totally serve its purpose in your weight loss journey. You can have some chicken nuggets, girlfriend.
Right.
However,
not all day, every day.
That's not the base. Like, could you imagine if I popped open like a meal prep container
with
like
chicken
4
nuggets
meals a day in prep? I'm eating chicken nuggets.
I mean, do we know the calories on those chicken nuggets? Like, okay, listen, I've never tracked a chicken nugget. I'm pretty good at macros, but that is one that I don't know off the top of my head.
Yeah, I don't know.
I would look that up, but
yeah. So you to her point, you need to really be aware of all the little things, right? Which is if you are taking gummy supplements or gummy vitamins, I'm trying to say nice things.
okay.
Is it an issue with like swallowing pills? Are you like, I hate taking supplements, but maybe if I chew them because they're like candy, I'll eat them? Is it like, I'm trying to find out what that is, right? Because like my stepmom, she cannot swallow. Like if you sat there and try to watch her take her supplements, she has to take it with like applesauce or one pill at a time. And you know, she's a heart patient. She's on a shit ton of medication. So it takes her forever to take like 6 pills.
Oh yeah, I bet.
You know, so I get that. And I've known people before who have really like constricted esophagus and it's like a challenge.
I think by way of powder maybe would be a better way to do that, right?
Yeah. And sometimes those will have calories too. And I think supplements in general will have some like negligible like supplement pills.
Right.
But not like the gummies.
Yeah, not like the gummies. No. So
yeah. So we just want to try to get people off of those.
So, okay, this is kind of like going backwards a little bit, but not really. Like, okay, so you kind of said that you're like, I'm bored with my training.
Yeah.
Right.
I actually have a secret I wasn't ready to share, but
okay,
but go ahead.
Sorry. Okay. Whoa. What I was talking to somebody in the studio the other day, right? And she's also my Goddess Body Project client. So one day she does her check-in and she's like, because she's new, right? We're just getting her training. She's getting stronger every day, but like doing the extra stuff, like the cardio and things like that is still just a little bit difficult, right? Soft start. So she's like, I meant to get to the gym, but I didn't feel like it.
She's honest.
And I was like, fuck yeah, that's great. So now then we get into the studio, right? Because she's an in-studio client and we're like talking about it. And then, you know, my other client, it's awesome. She's amazing. She was like, see, all you had to do was get in here and start. Now you feel great, right? It's just, true. Just get your ass in the door, right?
Yeah.
And I think that also goes to show like with us at the studio and like what we do is you have to find a way to like your training, right? I got a card from a client the other day and she's like, I absolutely hate going to the gym, but going to Venus is the best part of my day now. Yeah. I was like, that is amazing. So she shouted out to me and Coach Monica because we are the ones that usually train her. And it's just, that is the reason that we do this.
Right.
You know, that's 100%. The reason that we do this. And when I started personal training as a client, when I was losing weight back in the day, you guys know, if you go back, I lost over 150 pounds. And it just goes to show, like when I was doing that and he was making me feel better and I was changing my body, I was like, I want to do this for other people as well. And now I'm doing it every day.
It's got the
fucking
chills.
Great. I'm so happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think it's, you know, it's very important for people to hear that people in the fitness industry who do this for a living still have struggles. Like we can be vulnerable about it. We can share our stories and where we came from. And, you know, it's not to say we don't have it figured out. We understand what it takes. We know, like we are professional dieters. Okay. Like we know
whatever you're doing, I've already done.
Yeah.
Okay. I've already done that.
For sure. And so we're just sharing like obviously knowledgeable experience, but also like experience with clients and ourselves and learning.
I mean, let's be real. Like, I don't want to go to the gym sometimes either.
No, I mean, we have all been through it. Right. And I feel like for us coming from such a regimented, like rigid, structured type of exercise for extended periods of time for many, many years, I think, you know, that can work well for some people, but some other people, not so much. Like I'm no longer interested in having exercise and my mental real estate being occupied incessantly about the scale and every single, like how every ounce and every calorie and all the things. And I want to like live my fucking life and also look good. So it's like, we had to create a balanced strategy for that, which I feel like is essentially like the Goddess Body Project, but even going into the Goddess Body Project is a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, like this is a big adjustment because they haven't been taking care of themselves.
Yeah. And I also think that that kind of goes to show, like, if you're really wanting to change your body and change your life, like you have to do things that you weren't doing. And some of it you're not going to love, you know? So the best thing that you can do is just find what you like about whatever it might be. You know, if you're training, find something that you enjoy.
Right.
You know, maybe you really listen to really great music. Maybe you have a great trainer. Maybe you have really fun workouts and you go to, you know, I don't know, anything that would be like a class or whatever, you know? So
That's definitely,
that's kind of how I look at it.
I think it's like so underrated having a support system or a community, right? Like you could do both, right? I don't feel like I have an in-person community like I used to at Venus and, you know, all those things. However, I have a partner and we hold each other accountable, and it's important for him, you know, for his health and things like that. And he knows how important it is for me. So we are constantly like, it's either him or me that's like, are we going to the gym today? Like, what are we doing? Da, 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 da.
Yeah.
But when you don't have that at home and you're just trying to do this shit on your own and you don't have friends that are into it, it is going to be really hard for you to stick to it unless you are a highly self-motivated person. Constantly.
Find a community, right?
Yeah, totally.
So, boss bitch besties.
Yes, exactly. Boss bitch besties. So if you are watching on Instagram or the YouTubes or listening in your ears, I did resuscitate my Facebook group, which was always like buzzing. Do you remember that when I was running that group?
I was part of it.
Yeah. And people were posting and sharing, and I was in there doing lives a lot and educating. And if we did any kind of like challenges, which we'll be doing one soon, we were holding them in there. And I just
when
miss
we did
it.
The juice challenge, the 2-week challenge.
Yeah, we did like a smoothie challenge
over COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Word.
Yeah, yeah. So if you don't have a community or you want just to be infused with more, then find me over there. It's a Facebook group.
Yeah.
Boss Bitch Besties. It's our fit community. So we'll link that up in the show notes for you as well. But I mean, yeah, I think it's been a pretty good week or pretty good month.
Yeah.
I did have something that I was going to share, but I wasn't ready to share, but I'll share.
Oh, I don't know what you're sharing, so I can't tell you yes or no. So
well,
I gotta make up that mind.
I've told you, well, you know, and I've told, you know, our friends here that I've just been like really struggling to get motivated, right? Mm-hmm. And I know because I'm a smarty pants and I teach this stuff that it's like, it's discipline, right? Yeah. It's just discipline. I need to just fuck off motivation. Like it's not happening. But even when I get to the gym, because I've been going, it's not that I haven't been going, I'm just like, I don't really want to do this right now.
Right.
You know, and my usual rule is what? 15 minutes.
Yes.
If I'm not feeling it, then I go.
Okay.
And I've been pushing through those 15 minutes and I've been pushing past them and it's still not really getting the juices going. Right. Okay. So I just realized that I want to feel more athletic. Okay. Not look athletic because, you know, I can do that by dropping 5 pounds if I wanted to. People will be like, oh my God, what sport do you play? How much do you bench? Neither.
I've never done that. No. I mean, not anytime.
Has anybody ever asked you that? Side note, how much do you bench?
Yes, I've totally been asked.
Get the fuck out of here. I don't even do bench.
I don't even know how to do that. Like, I think the last time I did that was the first year I started training.
Yeah. So anyhow.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. I just like, I have people ask me that at the grocery store. You know, it's just kind of funny. So I'm like, okay, looking athletic is great too, but I want to incorporate some sort of training, but it always scares me because if you're going to tell me to do burpees, I'm not doing that. Right. So I decided to kind of go on a little bit of a hunt for somebody who could program that for me, you know, like a coach for everything. Right.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I can program with my eyes closed upside down.
Yeah, but you're not going to do it if you make your own program. And
precisely.
So I make programs at the studio, but I'm not going to do them unless there's a trainer there.
Yeah. So see, this is the problem.
Okay, we need coaches.
Our
coaches
problems
need coaches.
Yes. So I did find somebody. Her Instagram, I'm like, I'm going to do this. She's probably 20 years younger than me. Not even gonna lie. I don't give a shit.
You got to keep up now.
Yeah, but it was more so like watching her training. I was like, she looks jacked, right? Mm-hmm. Which I know is diet and I'm not really, that's not why I'm doing it, but I'm seeing her and I'm like, I want to be able to move like that. Like I want to do that now before 10 years later, I'm a crotchety old woman and like I can't do any of this.
That is not going to happen, but okay. Yes.
You know, like whatever, when I'm like almost 60, I want to be able to.
Excuse me. Some of our clients would beat your ass right now for saying that. Thank you very much.
No, not because they're not, but just because I know that if I neglect that I'm going to be just, it's not going to be any easier 10 years from now. Does that make sense?
Okay, that's better.
Yeah, it's not going to be easier. So if I keep putting it off, and I even told Jack, and then somehow I stumbled upon this gal.
Yeah.
And I had a call with her yesterday.
Okay.
And she's very organized. I had a lot of questions because I'm a coach. So, I asked all the questions.
Yeah.
And I should be getting my programs tomorrow.
Do you have any idea what's going to be in the programs?
Well, I decided. So she asked me, and she has like an app where you go in and kind of like ours where we answer all the questions.
Oh, yeah.
And so I went in and answered all the questions, and we had talked about it beforehand, her and I, and she asked me like, what are your goals? And I thought, she's like, are you wanting to gain muscle? And I'm like, well, I'm a bodybuilder. I'm always trying to be gaining some muscle, but I decided that I want to go into a phase of athletic improvement.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And so then the next question, so that's what I selected, was athletic improvement. And then the next question was, like, what is your current athletic ability? Like how much experience do you have as an athlete? And it was like, the first one was like, previous athlete, and then she kind of listed some examples like track or whatever. And then the middle one was like, just kind of like wanting to do it as like a lifestyle thing. That's me.
Okay.
And then the last one was like zero experience whatsoever. So I'm kind of like taking the Goldilocks route. Like I wanted to choose the elite, but
I don't know if you're ready.
I'm not ready.
I mean, okay, listen, you would be fine. Don't take that wrong, right?
Yeah.
Like, listen, people, I love this bitch, right? I'm not talking shit to her, but I just feel like this is the thing that we preach to our clients, right? Don't go 0 to 100.
Correct.
Like, because if you do that, you're going to be like burnt out, or the diet's going to be too hard for you to stick to, and you're just going to fall off anyways.
Yeah.
I mean, and if you don't, like, fuck yeah, good for you.
Right. So she does do a diet piece of it too.
Okay.
And, so we talked about that, and I told her, like, I am not interested in counting macros. Like, you can give me a meal plan, but I'm probably not going to follow it 100%, know? So she, they have like a very intuitive way to like doing their meal planning. So that'll be coming through. And then, she asked me like how many days a week I want to train. And I just told her I'll likely do 3, but let's give me 4 in case, so mentally I'm like, if I'm at 3, I'm going to feel successful. 4, I'm like, I'm extra that
doing
week,
it,
know? So
I know.
So I'm excited because I see how she trains, and I'm like, I'm gonna hate this, but I'm gonna love it. And I'm gonna make Jack do it too, but don't tell him.
Okay. Well,
actually,
I know now.
I know. Actually, he'll probably love it. Like he will probably gravitate toward it.
So can you kind of like give us an example of a move that you think you will be doing in this training program?
I mean, think like, probably like sled sprints and kettlebell work.
Okay.
A lot of, she like has a high emphasis on like mobility training. And one thing like you notice immediately about her is like her midsection and her core. And I wasn't like, ooh, this girl has abs, let me do her thing. But I'm like, she's got a lot of power. Like you could tell her core is strong. And that's something that I really crave because I think it'll help with my back.
Yeah.
And so, so a lot of like, kind of like drills like that, like skaters, skating lunges, some plyo stuff, more power type, explosive movements for training, which I have to be very careful with that.
Can we know who the trainer is?
Not yet. Okay. Just not yet.
Okay.
Because if I'm like,
let her do the experiment.
I want to have the experience with her coaching. And the reason being is because when I tell you guys that I don't talk about shit that I don't use or won't use or whatever, and if I have a bad experience, I'm going to tell everybody. Okay. And that's why I have such a huge emphasis on customer service at our studio, and like how we deliver things is because I know how powerful suggestion is and influence and referring people. So I just want to make sure that I feel solid with it before. And then you guys know whatever I learn trickles down, and y'all will be, learning some things too, for sure.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. It'll be fun.
Great.
Totally.
Man.
or I might die, but
No, you're going
Or-
to be fine. You're going to be fine.
mhm.
I'm not worried about you. I mean, that's the thing too, is like a lot of people will be like, oh, like I'm afraid to do this new thing. But like if you're already doing something and you're going to do a new thing, you're still going to be pretty good at it, right? And even if you're new, hopefully whoever the person is that you're following or talking to or your coach is going to start you from, where you're at and work your way up.
Totally.
Yeah.
Actually, somebody had asked a really great question. Olivia over on Instagram had said, "Is that going to be in-person training?" Actually, it is not. Which I'm fine. I take marching orders, and literally every single coach that I had for all of the bodybuilding shows that I did, except for my very first coach, was online. And I trained with Casey in person a few times, but like not through my entire prep, maybe like 5 times.
Yeah.
So everything is virtual. So another one, Monday says, is this trainer local to
figure out
Modesto?
who it is.
No, the trainer is not local to Modesto. She actually lives in Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, she lives in Chicago, but I don't know, her shit looks good. So we'll see.
That's
We
exciting.
will see. Yeah, very excited. Yeah, totally. I'll probably be recording my journey on Instagram so you guys could see how awful I do at first and then how much better I get.
Oh, it's going to be great to see what you're doing in the beginning and then at the end, like how much better it's going to look. That just goes to show, like, take pictures, take videos.
Yeah. So
it's fun to watch.
Knowing me, I tend to like look at other coaches programming and I'm like, unless it's bodybuilding, but like if it's for something else, and I'll be like, I feel like I need a little more glutes. So I will add things. So I'm going to try not to mess with the recipe and just like be a good client.
I think that is going to be difficult for you. So it's going to be really you be honest about it. Okay. And you tell us if you do an extra set of kickbacks, because that's not on the,
I'll sneak some things in
the training plan.
But I mean, that just goes to show you that when you hire somebody, it's like, you have to trust the process and like also be very intuitive with your own knowing
and what you're adhering to.
Right. I would say, you tell me what you think. Okay. I think with the training piece of things, you can be a little more flexible.
Yes.
Right. Yes. But when it comes to the diet piece of things and you're working with a coach, you really have to have an open mind, because if your diet strategies have not been working, then that should be a huge clue as to why you need to try a different strategy. Does that make sense? Like the training, like even if you did the training written or you kind of messed around with it a little bit, the outcome, if your body is one of like fat loss for sure, is going to be, trusting your coach's marching orders for sure to just do something different.
Yeah, I think that's the hard part too. And then people think, that they're doing all the things, right? And then we dig deeper as coaches and we're like, yeah, you're eating chicken nuggets and not chicken breast. Right. It's a difference. Okay. So, I mean, yeah, it's a learning process. I think nothing is always like all at once. So I'm excited to see your new little journey you got going on now.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun. The other thing I want to say about that too is, you tell me what you think, and you guys watching, let me know if you feel the same, because I feel like through the clients that we acquire, most of the women have some experience with dieting and they have either read things, heard things, their friends have done things, their moms, like they're very aware of diet culture.
Yeah.
So there's a lot more resistance to trying, say, like our ways or whatever, versus when we hand them a training program, right? Because they've never really, not never, but a lot of clients that come to us haven't really got serious or consistent with a training program.
Right.
So they're a lot more open to like our training process.
Yeah, I think that's the first thing that is like easily changed, right?
Yeah.
And then your nutrition is the second one.
Right.
Unfortunately, is the most important one, right? And then like I even have a lot of people, like a lot of women, like, we don't typically eat protein, right? You wouldn't just be like, oh, I want to eat a chicken breast today, right?
Yeah.
Like that's not typically something somebody wants to eat all day. But it's not necessarily that you have to eat that, but getting your protein above 100 grams, if you're not doing that, makes a huge difference. I've noticed clients that have finally gotten their protein up over 120 and they've dropped 4 pounds.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's so important. It's so very underrated too. And I think that when women come to us, they're so used to like the fear of carbs or like, well, 5 of my friend moms, mom friends or whatever that my kids go to school with, they're all doing this keto thing. And like, I don't know, I'm thinking I should do that because my weight isn't really moving that fast or whatever. And it's like they have all this stuff coming at them with diet and also not having a true like understanding of like energy balance
Right.
and how your body shape is really made, right?
Yeah.
It's not made with 0 carbs and, tons of like group fitnessy classes.
Yeah. And I think that has to like go for a lot of newbies too, that like start training. Like, yes, your body's going to get like better faster. You're going to grow muscle pretty good, but it's a long road.
Yeah.
Especially if it's like you want to grow a booty, right? Maybe you don't have a booty yet. Be patient.
Yeah.
Okay. Be patient.
Exactly. And kind of on the same topic, one of the gals, Olivia, says that the training that I'm going to be doing sounds like built-in cardio too, with that kind of training. And yes, and I will say that that was also something that was attractive to me in the sense that anytime I do that kind of training, so, HIIT style training or conditioning, athletic style training, I find that I have to do less cardio because that's already built in.
Yeah.
But I do want to say something very important. So if you have strayed, come back to me for a second. All right. I would not have signed up for this type of coaching or training had I not already been really comfortable with the level of muscle that I have on. Specifically for myself is because I like the shape that my muscles have given me. So if I was a new person, first of all, that would probably be really intimidating, this kind of training. And second of all, I would really ask myself, am I still wanting to build my glutes? Am I still wanting to build my legs? Not to say that it wouldn't be possible with a program like this. However, it is not targeted for hypertrophy, right?
It's not the focus.
So, so I feel like I'm in a spot where I'm not competing. I'm not super concerned about 100% symmetry with my body anymore, as long as I feel good in my clothes and naked. And so this is why I'm sort of layering this in. It's just
I love that. I think it's great. I'm sure it'll be fun.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
I love all that kind of bullshit too.
Yeah.
You know that?
Yeah, I'll make you do it one day, probably.
I'm excited.
Oh, did we get it all?
I hope so.
Yeah. Okay.
That was a lot.
That was a lot.
That was a lot.
Yeah. Well, that was fun. We'll be back in another month and just bring you up to speed with how things are going with my training and, all the things.
Right.
Yeah. All right. We're gonna eat some snacks.
Thanks for coming, guys.
All right, you guys. Thanks for coming along. And like I said, visit the links in the show notes if you want to join in the Boss Bitch Besties over at the fitness community on Facebook. Lots of women over 40. Lots and lots of women over 40 there. It's like 40 and plus. So if that's you and you want to hang, and even if it's not you, come find us. All right. We love you. We'll see you next time. Bye.